Good day, examiner, lecturer, and all my fellow friends. My name is Ong Li Fu, and my supervisor is Dr. Masa, and I will be presenting my final year project 2. My final year project 2 title is Human Face Gender Recognition for Virtual Helpdesk Assistant. So for the problem background, the study has shown that the human eyes can recognize and identify a person's gender between a male and female up to 95%. But computer vision still faces difficult tasks because it provides to be a challenging and unconstrained imaging condition. In virtual assistant, some intelligent virtual assistants sometimes respond unnaturally, which leads to a gap in user expectation. For the problem statement, the gender recognition is important because it helps in various applications. Gender recognition is still difficult because of the variant change in face expression angle, background noise, and unconstrained image condition. The demographic data recognition, such as the gender recognition, can escalate the intelligence and interactivity for the human-computer interaction system. The current smart assistant can talk and listen to the user, but cannot get the visual feedback from the user, which leads to an incomplete or impaired interaction and therefore less effective. So the aim of this project is to develop a human face gender recognition for virtual helpdesk assistant. So the objective, the first is to study the characteristic of human male and female face and gender recognition method. Next is to train the CNN convolutional neural network based on preprocessed image and different feature setting of face feature and parameter for gender recognition. So the third is to develop a system that detect human gender for virtual helpdesk assistant. So the project scope is that the system will only work on the Windows platform. It uses a dataset from the online source, and it also will use the real user for the testing. The setting of the camera for the help test need to have a good light source, and the system will recognize the gender through the face only. The function of the system is mainly for recognizing the gender, and the system will give feedback based on the detected gender. The system shall only capture the face of the user once they click start on the system. The system will have a dummy avatar, and the dummy avatar will have the function of greeting and making some simple chat interaction. The system will focus on the normal gender and not include hard to determine gender. The system can only attend to one person at a time, and the face or head of the user should not have too many accessories that will affect the recognition process. The target user will be focused on Asian adult. So for the project methodology, I used the waterfall method, and then it was separated in 4 phases. Phase 1 is data collection. Phase 2 is application structure design. Phase 3 implementation phases, which included sub-phases. And phase 4 is testing and evaluation. So for the application structure design, the system architecture are shown on the figure. Starting from the computer device, the webcam will capture the camera input, use the JavaScript, and also using the AJAX connection, send the data to the backend. Python and Django will be the application used for building the application, and the OpenCV will be used for the face detection and the image processing. And then the Keras and TensorFlow framework will be used as the recognition model and also the prediction model. The training of the model of the CNN will also be using Keras with the TensorFlow framework. And then the result will be returned and using back to the front end. So for the implementation, so for the first step is dataset collection. There will be 2 types of recognition, which is gender recognition, being the main recognition for this project, and the two-tone recognition. So inside the gender recognition, which is the classification between male and female, it includes the number of data, which is more than 4,900. And after aligning and filtering, the data will be around 4,800. And these are the data that will be used for the training of the CNN model for gender recognition. So for the two-tone recognition, there are 2 classification types, which is wearing a tudung or without a tudung. For the wearing a tudung, there will be only Malay female, and without the tudung, there will be included male and female. And it made up a total of more than 1,000. The data set used for the tudung recognition are also included in the 4,900 of the gender recognition. So on the right side, it shows the example of the face image data. The data of the face include different poses, age, races, and country, but mostly focusing on Asian. All of the data are collected from online sources. So the next step is building the convolutional neural network model. So the CNN is trained and tested with different setting of parameter and are determined with the value of learning rate equal to 0.001, epoch value of 100, batch size of 32, and the image size of 96 times 96. The summary of the layer of the CNN model are shown in the figure. So the next step is training the gender recognition model. So as shown in the figure, the visualization of preprocessing for the gender recognition are shown. And on the right side is the flow of the preprocessing gender recognition. Starting from reloading the image from the dataset, using the OpenCV, we will detect the eye position and then use the eye position to calculate the angle. And then do the alignment of the image. And then the next thing is detecting the faces. Then make cropping of the faces and then convert the image into the grayscales. And then do the resizing. Then convert the image into the array. And then do the training model of the CNN. So the next is training the two-tone recognition model. The two-tone recognition as being implemented is to serve as an axis to the general gender recognition to increase the accuracy by a little bit. So since most of the users are Asian and some of them are Muslim, and usually the Malay female are always wearing a tudung. So detecting a tudung always automatically means that they are a female. So the preprocessing of the tudung recognition are quite similar, but with some additional and a little bit different. So starting from loading image, so same as then detect and align the image. And then the cropping of the image sizes are using a wider dimension because it need to included not only the face but the tudung. Since the face feature are not important, blurring out the face feature will help in also the improving the recognition model. So after that, same process is converting the image into a grayscale, resize, and then convert image into array. Then train the model with the CNN. So after two of the model are being trained, the recognition process will are implemented. So as shown in the figure, starting from capturing the camera frame, converting it to the grayscale, and then detect the face using OpenCV. So from the camera frame, the detected face will be calculated and the input will be only taking the largest among all the detected face. So only one input will be sent as the recognition. So the face are cropped into two sizes, one for the head sizes and one for the face sizes. So from the head sizes, it will detect the tudung, and if the tudung are detected, it will automatically return the result as a female. If not, then it will proceed onto the gender detection, and then the result will show accordingly. So the next is the implementation of the virtual assistant. The virtual assistant is also trained with CNN model, and also it will provide a simple chat interaction. The virtual assistant is modified to respond differently based on the gender. So as shown in the table, these are the few examples of the message input and the message response that will be replied by the virtual assistant on the chatbot. So this will be the full application flow chart. So there will be only two interfaces, the home page and also the virtual assistant chat page. So starting from the top, after into the virtual assistant chat page, it will show the camera and then the camera will capture the frame of the camera. Then the camera frame will be sent into the backend for the gender recognition process, and then it will return the result of the male or female. So after receiving 10 male or 10 female, whichever come first, and then it will show the detected gender result, and the virtual assistant will agree with the detected gender. So if the detected gender are wrong, the user can press to swap the gender, and then if not, they can proceed on doing the messaging chat input. So after inserting the message chat input, the message will be sent into the chat message recognition, and then the virtual assistant will generate and return the response. Then it will display the virtual assistant response, and the user can continue to make the chat interaction or end the application. So this is the user interface for the application, and this is the home page. So there's one button, press to get assistant, and this application is being published using a free web hosting server called Python Anywhere. So after pressing the get assistant, the user will be going into the chat page, and then this is the example of the recognition process. After the recognition process, the user can perform some simple chat interaction, and this is an example of the male user. So for the female user, is shown as over here. So once the implementation are completed, the testing and evaluation will be done. So first thing is to test with the accuracy. The table shown are the gender recognition accuracy without the tudung recognition. So it was separated in the lab dataset and also the non-lab data. The non-lab data used 40 images, and when it was trained with the CNN, On the raw data, on the first row, the data show is pretty high accuracy, but for the non-lab data, it is shown pretty low. But after doing all the pre-processing, the accuracy has reached to 90%. So after adding the two-tone detection, the accuracy has reached for 95% for the non-lab data. So usability testing is also being conducted, and 10 respondents are being involved in this testing. Half of the respondents are female and half of the respondents are male. Most of the respondents have experience in using computer vision, and only 4 of the respondents has an intermediate knowledge on computer vision, while the rest has a basic understanding or don't understand computer vision at all. So for the respondent experience on the virtual assistant, most of the user have the experience, and all of the respondent has no knowledge of any virtual assistant that uses computer vision or recognition. So after completing the experiment, the respondent will fill up the post questionnaire, and this is the result. So for the first is the accuracy of the gender recognition system or recognizing the respondent. 90% of the respondents are recognized correctly, and only one will have the wrong or uncertain result. So this means that there is 90% accuracy for the gender recognition system. Most of the respondents also agree that the process of the recognition is also very fast and easy. All of the respondents agree that the result on the precision of the greeting with the gender by the virtual assistant is correct. The respondent also receive an appropriate response based on the gender from the virtual assistant. So based on the figure shown, most of the respondents has an overall positive experience with making basic conversation with the virtual assistant. And almost all of the respondents agree that the virtual assistant that have computer vision, which is recognizing the gender, age, or etc., will provide a better experience to them. So 4 of the respondents prefer a virtual assistant that could recognize their attribute, which is more intelligence, while the rest have no preference. All of the respondents agree that the application gives a fast response and feedback throughout the whole process. A user acceptance testing is also being carried out. So almost all the respondents are able to perform the simple process, which is starting the application and then allowing the camera access, position themselves for the camera to do the recognition process, and then start chatting with the virtual assistant. All of the respondents are motivated enough to ask the question to the virtual assistant. Now for the specific questions such as asking for toilet direction or any direction, saying thanks or goodbye are optional, hence some of the user doesn't perform the action. Based on the result shows that the recognition rate is high when trained with pre-processed image compared to using just raw data. The recognition rate reached more than 90% with two-tone recognition added. The recognition rate also stayed at 90% during the user testing. This has concluded that the project has successfully produced a gender recognition system that with a good accuracy. The result also indicate that the gender recognition is suitable to be applied on a virtual assistant to provide a better user experience. Thus, that being said, the project objective had successfully achieved. So for the future work, some suggestion is to implement a facial accessory detection. This could allow the computer to be able to detect facial accessory from the user and inform them to take it off so that the recognition process can be proceeded smoothly. The next is to collect and use more data from the real user, and using the data from the real user and retrain the CNN model to increase the recognition rate. And lastly is to improve the intelligence of the virtual assistant so that the virtual assistant can perform a much more advanced and intelligent chat interaction. And that is all for my presentation. Thank you.